I'm out here in Cali traffic. I'm driving back from the studio apartment that I just leased. And dude, I have an apartment. And I don't want to get pulled over for making this video. But dude, I really fucking live here now. It's so crazy. Bro, you can manifest anything that you want in your life, okay? Sometimes it takes a long time and a lot of waiting, but best believe you stay in alignment, it's coming for you. And when it comes, sometimes it all happens all at once. So, bye. Hey friends, happy spring. As you can see, I have some flowers here to celebrate my new apartment and also the spring equinox, which just happened a few days ago. So in my last video, I talked about why I moved to LA, and this video is the how. So if you are thinking about moving here or in the process of moving, I find it really helpful to hear other people's personal stories. So this is it. This is the how. This is the information part. So this video is really going to be in two parts. There's housing and then moving. So first, let's talk about housing. When I moved to LA, I moved into a sublet. So I stayed in an apartment with a roommate for a month and a half. It was originally supposed to be a month, but I needed an extension because I didn't know where I was going to go after that. For those of you who don't know what a sublet is, it's basically when you take over someone else's rent and you take over their space, but your name is not on the lease. So you pay your rent to like the tenant. A lot of people sublet their apartments when they're traveling or just for any other reason. And the sublet can be anywhere from a month long to several months long. Just depends. I found my sublet through a friend, but one place I was looking before that was Facebook and I think maybe like Airbnb has sublet options. You can just do an Airbnb if you want to come out here into a furnished space, but they're a little bit more expensive, and I found that it was easier to just do a sublet and just find one that was furnished, because some of them are not furnished, some of them you need to bring your own stuff. But if someone's just traveling like for a month or two, usually they'll leave everything there. If anything, like just bring your own bed sheets or whatever. So why did I choose to stay in a sublet? Because I was not ready to commit to a location yet. Even though like month-to-month rent is an option and you can always ask for shorter leases, I found that the housing market here in LA is so competitive that I feel like they're always gonna choose the tenant who can sign for a year over someone who wants a shorter period. And really, everywhere you go, the landlords want a 12-month lease in my experience. So subletting is a great option if you're not sure where you want to stay yet, or you're not ready to sign a commitment. You can always find a sublet for like 5 or 6 months or shorter than that if you're not ready to sign that year-long lease yet, especially if you're new to town and you're still figuring things out. I feel like I got really lucky because I was able to find my sublet through a friend, so the person wasn't a complete stranger, which it's okay if you have to sublet with a stranger. Like most people, just use your judge of character. But yeah, I found myself through a friend, so we already had a mutual connection, and he told me great things about her. The place where I stayed was in a beautiful location. I had a roommate and she was so amazing, my love. And yeah, it was just I felt like it was a great deal because it came with a parking spot and it was in a great location and it was furnished and it just had everything that I needed. So I feel like I got really lucky there, and also it was extendable. But yeah, I definitely recommend it for somebody who needs like a shorter term commitment and is not ready to sign a year lease yet when they're moving to a new city. Another thing about sublets is no matter who the person is, no matter how much you trust and adore them, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you get your lease agreement on paper. It's just better for communication wise, and it just protects you and the other person. So yeah, basically just sign a contract and have on that contract how long your lease is, what comes with what you're paying for. So like, is it rent and utilities? Is it just rent? Does it come with a parking spot? What else? Whether or not it's extendable, and also the terms of the contract, like how long you have before you can cancel. All that detailed stuff, put it on paper, okay? You don't send around large amounts of money without having a paper trail, always. I didn't have any problems with my agreement, like everything was cool, but it was just always good knowing that it was on paper so we can reference it if we ever needed to. So yeah, that's what I did. I booked a sublet and then I apartment hunted while I was already in the city. That was just the easier way for me to do things. Some people, they sign a lease before they move all the way out here. I just found it easier to like test the waters a little bit. Even though I knew I was gonna stay, I was really still just figuring things out and exploring. So that was really, really helpful for me, and I totally recommend it. I found this apartment on Zillow, but I also looked on apartments.com, and I also just drove around neighborhoods that I liked or was interested in. And I just drove around, and there's so many for rent signs, and they have like phone numbers on them. So something I would do is that like I would see a sign and I would just call or go on their website and just see like the space that was available, or just inquire, because not everything's online. So I think that covers all of housing. Next, let's talk about the move. I was able to fit my entire life into my car, and I shipped my car to California, and I met up with my car. I flew in the sky, and I met up with my car in LA. It took like a week after I got there for my car to arrive, and in the meantime, I rented a car, which I found to be necessary. You don't need to, but for the places I wanted to go in the neighborhood that I was in, I needed a car. So I rented a car for pretty cheap. It was $115 for 4 days, and I booked with Midway Car Rental, and that was my second time booking with them. They're pretty cheap. Maybe I shouldn't be telling my secrets, but that's why I'm here, right? I'm here to give you guys the information. The car shipment cost me $1,300. I was able to pack up the trunk and a little bit of the compartment space in the car. I didn't have that much stuff. I also brought 2 suitcases to the airport, and that's pretty much, that was my life. 2 suitcases and like a trunk full of stuff in my car. The shipment cost me $1,300, and it could have been cheaper if I booked it further in advance, but I literally booked it like 2 weeks ahead of time, which is pretty short notice. So I think it went up price like $100 since the first time I looked to when I actually booked it. So, I mean, the further in advance you do it, the cheaper it'll be. There was a small discount for booking it online, which is what I did, and it was a super seamless process. Like I just booked it online. I had to bring my car to like a stop and shop because I don't think that my street was a truck route, but it is a door-to-door service. So they will bring your car as close to your property as they can. And if trucks aren't allowed on your street, then you might just have to go to the supermarket or something. So yeah, 2.5 luggages to the airport, a trunk full of stuff, and the only thing that I shipped aside from my car was my computer, because I didn't know how else to bring this over here. I paid $168 to ship my computer with UPS. It could have been cheaper, but I got insurance, and I think the insurance was like $40 because insurance was important this time around. But I mean, it arrived in one piece, so I guess I didn't need their insurance, but I was just being on the safe side, and I paid for the insurance, so it was $168, and you can ship it, like to your address. But if you like are not sure about shipping like valuables to your new place, or like you don't know if you're gonna be home for delivery, you can ship it directly to a UPS store and just pick it up at the UPS store, but they'll charge you like $5 to $15 of a holding fee depending on how heavy your item is. So yeah, the car shipment for $1,300, the iMac shipment for, let's just say, $170. My flight, which I used some points that I was able to use, and I think my flight was, let me check my computer. How much was my flight? My flight was $138. I know, right? That includes, I paid $35 for an extra bag. So that's how much it cost me to move. I'm not going to do the math in my head, so I will do it in the editing room, and I'll put it right here. That's how much it cost me to move to LA. Definitely come here with savings because it is an expensive city, and it literally costs money to just breathe air over here. But depending on like whatever living situation, it's not, I come from New Jersey, so the difference in like how much groceries cost and how much like rent is, it wasn't that drastic. Like, especially groceries, like it just depends where you're coming from, but I'm kind of used to like the expensiveness of New York when you go out for dinners and stuff. So I wouldn't even say it's that much more expensive here. If anything, like out here, there's just more you have to pay for. Like, I spend money to do laundry here. I didn't have to do that at home. You have to spend money to park your car most of the time when you go places. Oh, and gas. Gas is a lot more expensive out here, but that's the only major difference from New Jersey to LA that I really see. Is really just like gas, paying for parking, even at the mall, and yes, some groceries depending where you shop, but like not really. So quick story before I wrap up this video, because in my last video I talked about, you know, trusting the process and trusting that things will work out when you take that leap of faith, right? So I was supposed to leave my sublet by March 23rd. 2 weeks prior to that, I still didn't know where I was gonna go next. And this apartment was the first one that I looked at. I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it, and now it's my home. Now I live here, and I just want to share that because I really feel like blessed. Like I really feel protected, and I really feel like things are really working out for me. I'm also working, and so yeah, this is just like a new beginning. I think this is me having this new apartment and it being like springtime, the start of the new year. It just feels aligned. And yeah, there's going to be probably an apartment reveal later down the line, but literally I have nothing here right now. It's just me and my desk and my bed, so there's not much to see. So the reveal is coming later. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that this was helpful or at least entertaining for you. And I will do one more video of this series, I think, and that's my moving story. So if you learned anything or enjoyed your time with me, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.